Welcome back, Badgers. We've got a slightly different setup, slightly different episode today. We're talking from, well, why don't you tell us, Jerry, where we are and who you are as well, in case they don't know.
Right, well, we're based here right now in Hov on Gimsaya, way up in the Lofoten Isles, up in the Arctic Circle, northern Norway. And I'm Jerry. I'm supposedly the greenkeeper here.
Supposedly.
So yeah, I've been here 11 years now, and I suppose it's home away from home.
Yeah.
I love this place, you know. Maybe not so much the winters, but the summers are fabulous, and just love the whole vibe of the place, the 24-hour sun. And I guess what you could say, a lot of people say about coming onto this island, it is like a time warp.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being back in the 50s. I wasn't born until the 70s.
Being back in the 1050s.
Yeah, it like, you know, because there's no traffic lights, there's no zebra crossings. Jesus, like, it's, you know, there's a shop down the road. You barely even need a car here, like,
yeah.
And you have everything. You have the sea out there 100 meters away, all the mountains, 360 degrees of panorama.
Yeah.
So it is.
Well, we're going to talk about Lofoten. How do you pronounce it? Lofoten? Lofoten?
Lofoten, I suppose.
Lofoten?
Yeah.
Lofoten. Okay.
No, my English wouldn't be the best. So.
You're the person to say.
But yeah, people have said Lofoten, and yeah, Lofoten.
Lofoten.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll work on that one. But I'd like to find out before. Let's start at the beginning, because clearly you're not Norwegian. You're Irish.
No. Yep.
Ballybunion. That's home for you?
That's home, yeah. Well, I was born in Paddington, so I could be, what do they call that? A person born near the...
Paddington as in...
A Cockney. I could have been a Cockney.
Paddington as in Paddington Station. Paddington.
But no, living in Ireland all my life.
Claim that, yeah.
But no, I suppose, yeah, based in Ballybunion and done a small bit of travelling. But yeah, I grew up there, caddying for my dad, and then caddying for all the visitors there, and you know, it was a great summer job, meeting people, and didn't know what I wanted to do. I wouldn't have been overly... I love school life, but I probably wasn't the smartest...
In
yeah.
In academic thing, maybe,
yeah.
or yeah. The more places I go and the more things I do, the more I get wound up by school and the rigidity.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, you're coming out of school and it's hard to know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I was doing a couple of different things, electronics and and I hated it. I was in, you know, and you're just dreaming of being outside or swinging off a telegraph pole or, you know, something. And I realised then, geez, I loved the summer job in Ballybunion, and yeah, greenkeeping fit right in.
Well, what was Ballybunion like when you were a kid and when you were caddying? Because Ballybunion strikes me as somewhere that's maybe not a million miles. There might be parallels from what we're going to talk about here at Lofoten, but for a long time, I guess Ballybunion was pretty much unknown, pretty much unheard of. And,
it would have been, yeah.
And then the Americans seemed like they started coming off the back of Tom Watson. Was that the sort of...
It would have been,
tale?
yeah, it would have been. And like I can even remember working in summers in Ballybunion up to 92. You know, it would have been a very different place to what it is now. But I suppose it was one local man and committee members, but Sean Welch, who was the general manager at the time, and he's passed away now a good few years, but he would have really got the ball rolling in terms of bringing the American market in. You'd Sandy Tatum and Tom Watson, as I was saying, you know, the club owed a huge debt of gratitude to Tom Watson and what he done for it. And it just started getting bigger and bigger from there. But yeah, from what I remember at Ballybunion, you know, as kids, we were always playing in the sand dunes or down the beach and caddying then, and you know, it is totally intertwined with the whole town. If we didn't have the golf club there, you know, like when I was a caddy, geez, there could be 200 guys caddying, like, you know,
really?
And then you've all the staff and all the ancillary jobs related to that, you know, so it is a huge thing for the town.
Yeah.
It's got fabulous beaches, but like the golf business is,
If you speak to any golfer, and there are lots of golfers around the world, and you say Ballybunion, they're thinking of golf, aren't they? It is the thing that puts it on the map, and that's no bad thing.
No.
But from Ballybunion, you got you started on the golf course caddying, and then how did you get into greenkeeping?
Just to the head greenkeeper, a local man, he's retired now, Dan Blake. Fabulous guy, kind of gave us a start and, you know, working summer jobs, packing divots, you know. Even back then, you weren't allowed to drive a tractor, so you just go around with a bucket and shovel, and they'd form little anthills in the fairway. There'd be 2 in a par 4, 3 in a par 5, and just going around doing that all day long, myself and a few other lads. And from there then, you know, I mowed my first green in Ballybunion, and, you know, Dan was great, like, to anyone that worked there, anyone that wanted a job, he'd give them a start, and,
Brilliant.
you know, and he was a great guy. He kind of encouraged me then to go to college, and I love Dan. Dan was a...
Are there any other people who are still working in the industry who were sort of part of that team? Have you helped people get into the industry?
Oh, well, I suppose all the local guys. There's a man still there, Tim McGrath. He does a lot of the spraying and stuff. Dinny Connor. And like further field then, guys like later on in the industry, Dave McIndoe. He would have been the superintendent Clarny Golf and Fishing Club. And Dave would have been my agronomist on a links course I worked on down by Dingle. Another great guy. But there's, yeah, geez, everywhere you go, you know, and that's the beauty about here. We don't have full-time staff, so it's nearly always a new crew coming in each season. Yeah. And you're meeting people all the time, and we all got golf in common. And yeah, it is great, like, you know, meeting different characters. And
so you mentioned Dingle. So was that your first job as course manager? It
would have been, my first job, I was 23. There was a 9-hole golf course in Tralee called Ballybegan. It was a 9-hole course and a racetrack. And I think it was there in 97, 98. And then I started my first 18-hole job in County Bale, to be the most westerly course in Europe.
Is that right?
Fabulous course. To be more like a members club, you know. Yeah. But like, fabulous scenery. Dingle Peninsula, Slay Head, Connor Pass. They filmed Star Wars down there in 2015.
Wow.
You know, right at the head of the golf club. Oh yeah, very beautiful part of the world. Yeah.
Dingle, how long were you there for?
I was there, I suppose, 10 almost 11 years, yeah. And that was, yeah, we had a great committee there. There was 2 actual main men that spearheaded the whole thing, like in terms of committee and backing the team. They had gone through a number of years where their greens had kind of gone to pure poor rye. And it was a local businessman, Tomas Garvey. He'd kind of formed this committee, and I got interviewed for the job, and basically it was, we want our links back. Yeah. And we, you know, without saying any disrespect, they were sick of bringing their clients and friends to Ballybunion, Tralee, Waterville. This is our home, and we want to be proud of it. And then my boss, who sadly passed away, was Mr. Tom Shea. And I never met a guy like him, you know. This was all voluntary positions, you know, club committee, but Tom backed the staff, tooth and nail, anything we wanted. Tom was so into it. He worked for the Department of Agriculture, but Tom used to drive a big car every year, but he'd actually drive his car out on the golf course, and he'd be picking weeds and picking poa. Like, the guy was unbelievable, you know.
Because I think I found an old article that you were on. I can't remember where it was, and it's only just come to mind. It was probably when I was researching this trip. Right. And you were at Dingle at the time, and you were talking about how you'd managed to get your greens back to a proper fescue bent mix. And you were sort of a bit of a Jim Arthur, sort of followed in those kind of ways, treat it lean and all that kind of stuff. Is that a process you went through it?
It would have been, yeah. And like, to be honest now, like, you know, and that's this direction they wanted to go in. And Dave McIndoe, who was, as I said, he was at Clarny Golf and Fishing, a Scotsman, you know, a great man for the basics of greenkeeping, following along. But Dave kind of spearheaded it, and we followed the program. But like there was times, and it took us 5 or 6 years, like, but there was times like I'm scratching my head and I'm calling Dave, and I was there, look, we got to give this in. But Dave would he'd come down, what's wrong? What's bothering you? And you know, in some ways he was like a therapist, and he says, just stay on it, stay on this path. And like, by God, you know, the first couple of years were really rough now, because you're losing power and you're trying to fill in all the voids, and we're getting called everything and anything.
It always sounds like, and you know, we have lots of people who aren't in the industry who listen to these things, and it's one of the things that we really like is actually trying to, you know, I've learned so much, but one of the things I've always had in my mind as you know, not a million miles from an expert, is it feels like you're going on a detox if you're doing that. It feels like you're you know, coming off cold turkey. From, you know, from all the drugs, from all the sugar, from all the whatever your vices are, and you've got to go through a horrible kind of detoxification process. But if you do it and you hold firm and you come through the other side, you're away. And
like that was the thing with us, like, because a lot of our members, you know, they were playing all the fabulous clubs in the county, and you know, they would come back and say, well, what's wrong with Paul? Like, at least we'd have grass. But like the two Toms steered the ship, and like they were big into the chain of command and stuff. They were unbelievable. And like once we started seeing results, then it kind of spurred us on even more. But like there was years, the whole greenkeeping team, we were scratching our head with, are we ever going to turn the corner on this? But once we did, and even I'll be honest, you know, I was down there 2 years ago with a good friend of mine, Curtis Cook from Hawaii. I brought him down. But like the greens are fabulous. They're pure fescue. And like just JJ Cordova's the man down there now. And like, you know, they don't have huge money or anything, but Jesus, they have solid links turf. And everyone says it. And it's amazing. Even, you know, I'd be talking to my dad, and they're big into the swap days during the summer. So they all go to Lahinch and Tralee and Waterville and Ballybunion and Dukes. But like, my dad-in-law was, geez, we were down Dingle last Sunday. Everyone's raving about it. The greens are putting fabulous. And it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to put those 2-3 years where you're tearing your hair out and get through the other side. Well, okay. What I guess anyone who's really clicked on this might be really wondering about then is, you're there, living life in Dingle, having some success on your greens, you come through the other side, you're enjoying the fruits of your labour. How on earth do you end up here? Well, look, you know, all good things come to an end, and I suppose the big thing for us was the financial crash, you know, in 2008. And you could see it, you know, money was a worry for everyone, and I suppose people had their businesses to look after, and I guess, you know, there was a different mentality. We'd got the course back, and there was some people used to call it the Tom and Jerry show. In that, you know, anything and anything, but like it was for the good of the club. But things changed, and it was time to go, you know. And I was very hesitant about it, like, Jesus, I love the place. But yeah, it was the right thing to do, you know. And it's in good hands now. As I say, I was down there 2 years ago.
What was, if this was 2008, what was here then? Because I know that the course that exists today must have been very different when you first came here.
2008, I didn't get here till 2013, but in 2008, I guess you would have had holes 16, 17 and 4. They were built by a Scottish man and his wife in 1 year with a JCB and trailer, and Miss David Finlay, and I'd love to speak to him. I heard he's living out in Dubai now. And I suppose
he's
around...
Not soft. He's not soft.
No, but geez, like what they done in, you know, in a year with just with basic stuff, like, you know, and he done beautiful work out there. I guess 2008, the holes here, which are now 8 and 9 around the lake, they would have been done. And some of the original 6-hole would have been in play.
Okay.
Like, it's amazing, everyone talks about hole 2 now. When I got here, hole 2, there was a tee box out there, and you played it the other way.
Right.
As you know, it was a temporary hole. And if you're on hole 3 then, you can actually see the outline of 3 of the original 6 greens. No, they would have been like pitch and putt.
Okay.
But there's actually one hole that we'd actually love to bring back. It's a short par 3 playing about 90 metres over the beach.
Wow.
And we've always said that we should put it in as a, you know, as a memory to the...
just have 18 holes.
Yeah.
You if someone's travelled thousands of miles to come here, then just have as many holes as you want to have.
And I'll be honest, at that hole, you stand up there and you're playing over the beach and you've got the beautiful colours in the water, the white sand, and the backdrop of the green then is a rock in the mountain. And it is a fabulous little flick of a way. Like, it's just a tiny little hole, but it is a stunner.
It's an extraordinary spot. The more time you can spend in this all, all down there. Well, there's no bad parts of this, you know, in terms of views, in terms of the rocks, in terms of the drama. But Christ, you know, that's the bit down there that's really helped put this place on the map.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't it? So, but anyway, we digress because I cut ahead. Sorry, it was 2013. You say
2013, yeah. So I came up in April for an interview.
Did you just see it advertised?
I actually think it was the boys, Brian and Paddy in the Hinch and Fintan Brennan in Portmarnock. It was called Jameson now, isn't it? I think
yes,
it was actually...
jazzed it up, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there's so much history there with the Jamesons. I think there's a great angle to come from.
Because they had all of that peninsula, didn't they, the Jameson family?
That's right, yeah, and there's a lot of history there.
I think leased it to start with, didn't they? From their estate there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
No, you're grand. No, and Owen Maroney. Owen is an Irishman. He's down south, down in Hogger. So, yeah, I think it was Simon Doyle, Director of Agronomy for Troon. He reached out, and Jeremy Turner, the course architect here. And we had a Skype interview then with Simon and Fruda, and I think that went well. Although, and maybe you'll have to cut this out, Simon phoned me after and he said, look, the interview went well, but his name is not Frodo, it's Fruda. But he said, I think it went good. So we both came up then, I suppose, a month later. And I remember getting here, Fruda collecting us in Leckness. And it's, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I remember driving in. And I remember Fruda driving us up where the new shed is now. And I'm just like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And the place is just crazy. And I remember we had a coffee here or a beer and straight out and walked it and just didn't know what to make of it but you had that feeling, wow, this is something crazy.
So did Jeremy Turner do his work, the rebuilding? I say rebuilding, I'd like you to tell me sort of what actually he did, how extensive the work was, but was that around 2010?
Well, Jeremy's been involved, like it was Fruda's dad and some friends that kind of started it, and Jeremy's been involved since then. So he's been through the whole process, and we had Jeremy Turner back this year. We're looking at a master plan. Angela Mauser's involved. So yeah, Jeremy's been here since day one, and it is amazing. I've come across some old drawings and maps, and because the whole thing was a process over so many years, and money was a factor and everything. So originally, hole 1, actually, the green for hole 1 was out in 2. It was going to play as a long par 5. There was land going up the back of Hoven. They were going to build some holes there. Thank God they didn't, because you'd been into some serious drainage issues.
Yes.
But then they got hold of the land. They bought that 12, 13, 14, 15, which is a very, very special part of the course.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah.
You meet people down, especially in the midnight sun, and like people just want to stay down there.
Yeah.
People are just sitting down, and I've heard them being called Disneyland, and you know, it is like something out of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful down there.
So you've come and you've called your potential boss Frodo for an interview and been invited back. So everything else you said must have been pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And what was, you know, okay, it's one thing them saying this is our man, but it's another thing as well, you actually saying, you know what, I'm going to upend my life and move to the Arctic Circle. So how long did that process take? When did you, was it love at first sight? Did you see the Arctic sun and think, I want to do it?
Well, look, stuff had happened, you know, as I say, '08 happened, and I don't know, like I'd always been a full-time guy, and I kind of realised then, you know, things change, and, you know, new people come into a club, and there's a different mindset.
Okay.
And I just said, you know what, look, yeah, I want to go and see the world. So this came up, links course, Arctic Circle. How many more links courses are going to be built? It was a no-brainer, like, you know. And I keep saying it, like, you know, I didn't even have to, you know, I was getting paid to do it, like,
Yes.
which is, you know.
And you would have been here anyway.
Yeah.
You would have wanted to be here anyway.
For sure. And I love links, I think, and I've worked in Parkland, and there's something special about all golf courses, but yeah, there's something really, really special about links golf. You know, it is the rough diamond of, you know, it's...
You're preaching to the converted.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So they offered you the job, and that was it. You upended and moved up here. What did people say what did your friends and family and everyone say when you said, I'm going to move to the Arctic?
Well, I don't think anyone was against it. I'd say they were glad to get me out of Ireland.
So you can't go, there's nowhere any further you can go.
No, and like, you know, like I'd left Dingle, I guess, I don't know, 2010, 2011. You know, and I'd spent a couple of, like I worked Ballybunion in summers, and I went with Sol Golf Construction in the winters, and I was kind of doing, you know, and then I just wanted to travel, so I said, okay, this 2-year project come up, and maybe I'll head for Japan or Australia. I wanted to start seeing the world, but they can't get rid of me now. I'm here 11 years. So, you know, and look, I'm very lucky in that I'm full-time here, but my season is 1st of April to 1st of December.
Okay.
Now, as any greenkeeper, you know, your main season is,
Yes.
you know, do you ever leave the course really? But I get the winters off then, you know, so I get to travel. And
So what does your year look like, and what does it look like here? In fact, actually, what about if we start here? Can you describe Lofoten throughout the year, starting in January and going all the way through?
Yeah. Well, I guess, because I'm never here in January, so I don't know. No, they'd be updating me and stuff. The seasons are definitely changing, as we're saying, since 2018. I feel like that we're definitely, our main season when we're open, they're getting drier and drier. And the winters, I feel, have been changing a bit, and I hate to hear it. You know, I'd be checking the weather and you could be looking at the webcam. But I think since 2018, our winters are becoming milder. Usually we should harden off.
Right.
And it'll freeze, and it can freeze 2 meters deep. And I don't know everything about snow and ice, actually I know very little about it. But like, you take this year, we had some snow up to Christmas, and in January, February, March, it was a yo-yo of -20 to +10, and it's just non-stop up and down. And I think that's where we experienced some of the damage this year, along with maybe we've a bit more drainage work to do, you know.
That's interesting. Is that Lofoten as sort of a little microclimate of Norway, or is that Norway in general?
Well, we're very lucky here because we've got the Gulf Stream coming up, you know. So generally it wouldn't get that cold, but like usually from what I know, it'll freeze and harden off. But as I say, we're starting to experience, you know, I'd be talking to Fruit in February, March, and he'd be there, Jerry, geez, we could open now. The course is green, it's 10 Celsius, and I hate hearing that because POA,
Yeah.
you know, what I love to hear, or when I leave here in November, that it's rock solid.
Yeah.
It's hardened off, and I wanted to stay that way till I get back in April.
2018.
Yeah, that was a stressful year, because I'd be talking to people that are working here and living here, and like basically we froze over in around Christmas, and every month it was pretty much the same. And when I came up in April, everything was frozen, and even into May. So we've a lot of drainage out there, and even the first, second week of May, nothing's draining.
Okay.
So 12-inch pipe is frozen solid. You're talking to people that were living on the island, and the toilets weren't working, the water, and that's for a long time. And you start doing the research then, looking at the stuff, and after 30 days I should be losing this grass, after 60 days. And it was a very new experience for me, whereas most of the guys down south would, they'd be well geared up and they'd know what to do. And I remember talking to Simon, and everything's still covered in snow, and have you got activated charcoal? No. Can you get it? How much does it cost? And he said, what do you have? I said, I've got some sustain. So he's go out and fling that all over your greens and try to get stuff to melt. But, I didn't have a verti-drainer, because they were maybe going out and breaking the ice.
Yeah.
So it was, that was a big learning curve. And once the snow had melted then, and you're walking out on any of the greens, anywhere, you're looking at 12 inches of ice encasement on top. And I'm freaking, and we're out with flat shovels.
And this is in May.
This would have been April, April into, but as the ice is melting then, I remember hole 1, hole 3 at the front of the green, it might be down to an inch or 2, and we're just teasing it with shovels.
Yeah.
But you get to a point then where it's 6 inches thick and you're just waiting. But we actually lost nothing. Maybe on fairways and the low spots and the catch basins and stuff like that. But we came out of it great. But it's amazing, you break the ice and the fescue and everything is pumped green, the day you left it. And then as the year is getting at it, everything starts, going that dormant colour. But we came out of that fine, as I said, this season now has been kind of brutal.
Just to go back to 2018 though, because I remember 2018 as being the hot year.
Yeah.
And particularly dry, particularly arid across England and all of
Europe. Yeah.
So you're here in April going into May, sort of getting your fingers crossed that it will actually thaw and you can actually start maintaining it again.
Yeah.
Do you go into a heat wave and an arid spell afterwards as well?
And all in Norway, from what I can remember, everyone, all the guys down south, they would have had a lot of damage after the winter. And then they're spending huge money and manpower and everything, getting everything reseeded, fertilised, irrigated. And then the heat wave came.
Got you.
And then from what I've been told, a lot of the guys didn't have the water then for the seedlings and stuff. So it was a double whammy. Yeah. Whereas we're very lucky, everything here happens like turtle pace. Yeah. We've had years where, you're into the last week of July before it could get to 7 degrees Celsius. Now every season's different. This year was unbelievable. It was so dry and warm and temperatures were up. But things generally happen here very slowly. It's a gradual. We're not into 20 degrees within a month.
So I guess then, and I played the golf course the other day, and again, no expert on grass, but I thought that this feels like the finest turf on the golf course, sort of the holes down by the
ocean,
water, which I guess are free draining, sandier ground, and you can kind of see as you go back towards the bigger hills, you've got more actual physical drainage infrastructure, and it's just a bit wetter, and you don't have quite the same
wetland
coverage.
Yeah.
So, what's it like managing those two things? Is over there where it's wet? Is that where most of your time and energy and effort is sort of directed?
I wouldn't say that. Like, I suppose 'tis amazing, like, and I'm not big into hiking now, but if you went up Hoven every week in April and you were looking down on the golf course, you'll see the holes underneath the mountain in the wetland. They'll start greening up first.
Okay.
And you can see it gradually, and this will still be raw down here. But no, we treated the whole, as one. I guess the beauty, the six seaside holes, 1, 2, 3, 17, 6, is you step off the fairway and you're on these beautiful beaches.
Yes.
But like the brutality of that also is that we get some serious winter storms.
Yeah.
And like those 6 holes have a good few times been covered in 1 metre plus of seaweed, gravel, rubbish, rocks.
What's it like for ocean spray? Like the salinity, has it built up such a tolerance that it actually helps it, keeps it cleaner, stops other things coming into the sward?
I don't think it affects us that much, and as Fruit has always said, like it's so shallow out there, The only place I've seen ocean spray, because that ocean there is like a lake from April to, say, the start of September. And then you've seen it now, like we're starting to get some waves and that. And you could be out there 60 metres out on hole 1. There's a point there that's kind of well above. You can see ocean spray coming up there. Right. And that has affected the turf. You get the saltburn. But I think the rest of the holes, no. We actually, not like a Tralee, Tralee hole 3 now. They really do get affected by the ocean spray. Okay.
Jeremy came and did a lot of this work in 2010, and then you came in 2013.
That's right.
And obviously I appreciate he's been working as of you all the way through.
Oh yeah, Jeremy's
But
been.
was that the big sort of overhaul when a lot of the golf course as it's recognisable today was sort of built in that period?
It would have been like, I suppose, when we came up in 2013, like there was 13 holes. Now, like, there's been a lot of talk about what we done, but there was an American company came in here in 2011.
Okay.
And they'd done a huge amount of work, building haulage roads, drainage. There was a Swedish company after that. And between one thing or another, in 2018, it went to being Jeremy Turner. Jake McTavish was our shaper from Aberdeen, Scotland. Fabulous guy. Without Jake in this project, there would have been so many things that would have been missed. Yeah. And just to give small points, like where the tee boxes are on hole 1, they were meant to go seaside. Yeah. And Jake had all his life, greenkeeper, shaper, and he was, this is where they, and like small little touches like that, you take holes, what today are 6 and 10. Yeah. Up to a year ago, they would have been holes 9 and 10. Well, actually, hole 9, the tee box for that was on green 10, and it played down. Okay. And we were playing it in the gravel, before we really got into getting stuff done. And like 7, 8, and 9 couldn't have been a par 4. Yeah. As we were playing it. Because your second shot, you were playing like 4-iron or 5-wood. It was blind left and right, small green, and a lake on your right. So we had to rethink it, and everyone came up, Troon and all the investors and everyone. And Jake then, about a week later, he said, it's simple. And he just flicked the holes. Right. But like, not only that, 10 came up the hill then, but then you had that huge walk up, a fairly steep walk up by the antenna to get to 11. Everything just worked. And he was there, look, you better talk to Fruda about this. And I think Fruda was in Cuba on holiday. I said, just listen to me for 5 minutes and do it right now. It just clicked for everyone. So like there was a huge, like there's a back tee on 2 for 3. We were looking for a drop zone. Yeah. I was like, it'd be a nice tee box. So there was lots of no, it's Jeremy's course, obviously.
Every course is
a little,
great in the sum of its part. It needs a full team to contribute and to... Because, you can go and do a routing, do whatever, do a master plan. But like you just say, detail
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Moving the tee from one side of a rock to another side of the tee,
yeah,
and the other side of the rock, if you look at that on a plan, you know, you might not even
yeah.
notice it if it's on a big scale. But when you're on the ground,
When you're on the
it
ground,
makes all
yeah,
the difference in the
yeah.
world.
And you could be there for 30 days in a month, and it's day 31.
Yeah.
You know, and it just clicks, and nobody, you wouldn't be seeing it for 30 days.
Yes.
And it's just you're in the right position, or, you know, so it is amazing, like, yeah, and it is a stew of everything. But like Jake as a shaper, like, he was here 2013, 2014, fabulous guy, huge credit, like, for what went on. And like, Jake just wasn't a shaper, like, he was involved in everything, and I learned so much off the guy. We had a finisher, Ian Ward from London, another fabulous man, worked his heart out, like, you know. You know, and every year, like, we've Angela up now this year, and she's partnered up with Jeremy. Two of them are getting on great. I've never seen two people, you know, they've really gelled. And it's nice to see, and it's brought a bit of joy to the place, you know, to see how they're interacting and how they work together. They never met.
Yeah.
But like, geez, they've become this fabulous team. Like, I'm even shocked. And, you know, I know Jeremy from back along the years, but I see how much Jeremy's revived by her. And,
Good.
you know, it is fabulous, like, yeah.
Talented people bounce off each other, don't
off.
they? They don't bring each other down. They
Yeah.
do the exact opposite. Fruda. So, is he the main man? Is he?
He is, yeah.
Was he the start?
Oh, he was. Like, it was Fruda's dad that started the whole project, and he died very young. He died at 47. And Fruda was away in college then, I think in Lillehammer or Oslo. But he had it between the years, like, I'm going to finish this. And, like, you know, I'm here 11 years now. And, like, 'tis funny, like, because we're still not, you know, we're not up there with the Ballybunions and all this, you could say yet. We're new, we're the new kid on the block. But like, even for some of the staff, and they've worked fabulous places, I go, listen, if you've seen where we were 11 years ago, even 5 years ago, you know, and what's happening now, and if you took it another 10 years, but like, if it wasn't for Fruda, the banks would probably have this.
Really?
And like, just steely determination, keeping the costs where they had to be.
You can't do something like this and expect everything to go right all the time. There must have been some moments where you had to, you know, knuckle down and just get things going. And you put it down to, or at least in part down to, him and his determination. And
like, look, the man never gives up, and he had this, you know, he was going to do this, and, you know, me and Fruda bang heads non-stop. Like, you know, a lot of people say we're like an old married couple. But yeah, just never give up, and we keep fighting, and, you know, people can say what they want about us. We're top 100, we're not top 100. We are what we are.
Yes.
And this is what we're,
yes.
You know, and you don't have to love us. You don't, you know, and like, I've learned that now, like, because Troon were fabulous for me, especially Simon, like, because, you know, I could talk to Simon anytime, and Simon had so much knowledge, you know, but you'd still be feeling, even during the, if we had the money to do this, if we had the money to do that, and the time and more people. This was built by a young team of some greenkeepers, a shaper, a finisher, an architect, and, like, to be honest, school kids.
Yeah.
You know? And maybe I shouldn't be saying this on video, like, we had kids coming up here that were going studying hotel management, and they were leaving home, and this was their stopgap for 3 months. We had guys that were going to be studying psychiatrists, doctors, dentists, lawyers, and some of them are meant to be working at the clubhouse, and 5 minutes later they meet me, and you're going driving a big dumper, you're going driving an excavator. What? You know, and a lot of these guys couldn't even drive a car.
Yeah, dream.
Yeah, and but like, you always have people that bought into it and gave it their everything.
Yeah, because they fell in love with the place.
Yeah, and like, it's amazing, like, even this week, with a guy, Juraj, from Slovakia. He was here in 2016, never worked a golf course before in his life. And I gave him a hard time the first couple of months. But what a fabulous guy. You know, once he trained up and we got to know each other, we still communicate. He's here this week. But like you've new staff coming every year. And like that's one thing I've learned, like even the guys that have never worked in golf, because they're so new and fresh to it, the ideas they bring.
Yeah.
And I can, at first you'd be, what? And then you actually start thinking about
See
it.
things in a completely
Totally different angle, turn it upside down. And
they're not bogged down by convention.
Yeah.
This is the way we've always done it, therefore I don't need to think about the best way of doing
Yeah.
it, and we just do it this way.
Yeah.
And if you're not from the industry, you go, well, why would you do it that way?
Yeah, because this is how we were all doing it. And we're, yeah. 'Tis amazing, like, yeah, 'tis...
So what's your team now? Clearly it's constantly changing, but what would it typically be throughout the summer season, through the playing season?
Well, like our full team is 8. We've Ingvar, a local man, he's our mechanic. We've 2 guys from England, Max and Tomas. Tomas was with us in 2017 as well. They've travelled all over, like they're qualified greenkeepers. They've worked in Cowrie Cliffs and Yara. So like they brought a lot of experience. We've Sasha's from Croatia. Sasha would have spent his career in IT and just wanted a career change. And I suppose in the last 3 years, he's worked in Germany, he's worked in Switzerland, and he's here with us this year. We have another man from Tadeo from Argentina, never worked on a golf course before. He's here, I don't know, maybe 3 months. He's as good a greenkeeper, you know, he's great attitude towards work. We have a local lad then, Robin. Robin's only 19, and I suppose this is Robin's 5th season with us. And I remember his first year, because we couldn't allow him to drive anything.
Yeah.
Now he's a farmer's son. He can drive the biggest tractor, excavator, combine harvester.
He had been for 10 years, even when he was 14.
Exactly. And I can remember year 1, like very quiet, very shy, fabulous personality. But like he was so annoyed because I'm sending him around divoting, raking bunkers, maybe walking a hand more. And then as the years progressed, he got on a gator, and now he can do everything. You know, we just started inverted draining there 2 years ago. He loves the job. He's actually going down to Fana Golf Club to work with Ben Kebby next season. And total greenkeeper, you know. And it's always tricky at the start of the year, you know, everyone's coming up. Some years is a full team. It's great if you get someone coming back for a second or a third year, because they just know the lay of the land and they know what I'm like and everybody else is like.
So how does someone get on this team? Do you sort of know these guys and or do they reach out to you, or do you advertise?
We'll advertise in Norway on the Norwegian Greenkeepers site and NAV and all these.
But if there's a greenkeeper in Britain who's watching this,
just get in touch. Jerry Mulvihill at hotmail.com. Actually, the list is filling up. We've another 2 guys looking to come from England. We've a guy from Australia, from Royal Melbourne. So I'll be emailing him tonight. But yeah, it's amazing, like the amount of people that they'll contact the club, and I suppose that's where the whole social media thing, like, you know, that's really, like, it's been amazing the last couple of years, like when you see young lads and they're up hiking or whatever, and they're staying on the campsite and they're flying the drones down at midnight and they're out there, and like the buzz it's given us and the reach it's given us, you know, it's colossal.
It's powerful. So at the start, we were talking about Ballybunion, and when you were a kid, and then look at it now. It's, you know, you can't go anywhere in the world without people knowing about Ballybunion.
Yeah.
And I guess when you came here to Lofoten, not many people would have known about it.
No.
As you say, it is famous, legitimately famous. So what's that done for the course, for the club, for the town, for the Lofoten Isles? Have you, over your 11 years, did you say?
11 years, yeah.
Over your 11 years, how have you seen this place develop in terms of a destination?
Oh, it's definitely changed, like, you know, and I suppose a lot of it, you know, I remember coming up here and, yeah, you've a gut feeling and you think, wow, this could be something special. And, you know, you're getting people coming up, and year by year, you know, you hear what people are saying. No, we get bad press like anyone else as well. But like, it's definitely changing. I think the community have bought in more and seen like how recognised Lofoten is. I wouldn't say it's changing the island so much, you know, that'll come, like, you know, we want to build a clubhouse and we need to build more accommodation, maybe a hotel, and, you know, it'll obviously spin off like with the local
maybe
shops.
Maybe a second golf course?
Who knows, you know, people have been looking, some big people, you know, could see it 100%.
Yeah. What's the old Mike Kaiser of Abandoned Dunes?
Yeah.
You must know that line. One is a novelty, two is a destination.
Yeah.
And this is more than a novelty, but
it is.
It would be an even more amazing destination with
Actually,
another.
his son was up this summer with the Caseys from Rossapena.
Yeah.
So finally got to meet him. But geez, Mike Kaiser, like, I've never met the man. Fruda met him a few years ago and we were hoping he'd come. But I just read the book there, Dream Golf, read that, and then the latest book there was a year or two ago, The Nature of the Game.
Yeah.
Fabulous book, and look, the man has lots of money, but Jesus, what he's done for golf is out of this world, really, like, you know. And he's made money out of it. Everything he touches, he's got a Midas touch.
There are easier ways to make money than, you know, if you're already very wealthy, there are a lot of easier ways to turn a lot of money into even more money than risking millions upon millions for abandoned dunes and then everything. And realistically, he's built an industry that tens of thousands of golfers get to benefit from.
Exactly.
And thousands of people like us get to, you know, maybe the demand for somewhere like the Lofoten Links wouldn't be here if he hadn't gone and been a trailblazer.
And I suppose the whole way he done it, like, you know, the integrity for architecture and links golf.
Build the best golf course on the best land, build it and they will come.
And it was done for the right reasons, Oh yeah, listen, he's done golf a huge service, you know.
Here. Okay, now I'm going to be honest. So I was a little critical of the routing in the video. Now, I always want to be honest and transparent, and I basically, my gut feeling from playing the course just once the other day, and hopefully seeing this a little bit more before we go, was the best holes here are amongst the best holes anywhere, literally anywhere. I've said the first reminds me of Macrohanish playing round and the jagged mountains in the background, like the sort of the pips of Jura. I thought that's staggering. The second is obviously one of the iconic holes. It's turned into that famous par 3. And all of those holes down there are extraordinary. The views when you go inland and some of those holes are beautiful. But the thing I sort of pulled up on was the routing.
Yeah.
But I have to put a caveat, and I put a caveat on the video that I made, was it seems like that's a temporary kind of thing?
It is.
What's the story there?
Well, look, I suppose, you know, with the membership and that, and, you know, we're always getting a lot of advice from raters and magazine people, and the members would have liked, you know, maybe a halfway house and a toilet. So, like, we just said, you know, trying different things, and look, everyone did, like, even St Andrews and Ballybunion, you know, things evolve and change, and you're trying to get the best out of a thing.
Of course.
5 to 9, we kind of changed the routing there to get the membership and the green fee guests back to the clubhouse. But this is a temporary building. The plans are in operation. We're hoping very soon, you know, that we're starting on a new clubhouse, maybe a halfway house, and then the routing will go back to the original.
Okay.
And it does make sense,
Like, it was, I just thought it was so interesting because it was the one thing that I sort of scratched my head over a bit, and there's always an explanation.
Tis amazing, like, even last year, and last year was the first year of it, I remember father and son, I think he was a doctor, two gentlemen from England, and we got called in from the clubhouse. There's two guys here, and they've been playing all week, and they were good golfers. I said, geez, look, we love it, we love it, we love it, we love it. But we've got a suggestion for you. And it was the original routing. And I said, but sure, this is the way it was. Why the hell would you change it for the time? God damn it, just build a toilet out there. Yeah. You know, like, and every, you know, because they had it figured out, like.
Yeah. It's you've got to find, if you, the one thing that you can sort of pick a hole in is something that's something you're trying out that isn't the real way of doing it, then you're in a pretty good place.
And I remember you saying in one of the early podcasts about where maybe employing the architect was, so, you know, it's not a done thing in a lot of places, but it's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
You know, and when you look at the original routing here now and the routing we have, and like how everything flows, it's vital. You know, we're seeing a little bit of it, like golf cart use is gone up tenfold here. You'll meet the members. I remember we were out here in May, the end of May, myself, Fruda, Andy, Angela and Jeremy, and we're looking at stuff on Green 9. And there's 4 members there, knowing well, and they're shouting, Jerry, can you call us a taxi? We're going to T10. You know?
I guess the first time people play, because something else I want to talk about, your green fee rates as well, which I think is so clever. But I'm guessing the first time people play, they don't take a buggy, and the second time they play, maybe they do, and the third time they...
Yeah, it's... A lot of people are surprised that we have golf carts.
Yeah.
You know, the real hardcore traditionalists, like... and like the idea came from we copied that, like first round full price, second round half price, third round free. But yeah, that's the way. But
this is it. It's hard to believe that a golf course that's already as well ranked and as good as it is, still has, you know, space to get even better.
And look, I'll be honest here. Look, you know, and I'm not being, you know, smarty about it, like we're only starting, you know, like what's been done here has been done with pennies, and that's all right, but like you need money. And we got a new investor now about 4 years ago, and like they've been pumping in money to us, giving the greenkeeping team the machinery and the stuff they need, and that's going to continue. But like there's huge things, like the future is shining bright for the foot. If Carlsberg done golf, it's Lofoten Links. It's got everything, the nature, the beauty, the wildlife, the 24-hour sun, the northern lights, every berry and flower. Like I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I would say, because I've never seen a site for golf like this, apart from Cypress Point.
Right.
And I think that's the highest praise that I could ever give to a location for golf, because it is, you know, you start by the ocean and you go into the mountains, and then you go around the lake, and then you come back to the ocean, and it's not just like you're on a beach and isn't this nice, the water's there. It's the rocks, it's the colours, it's the you know, the electric blues and the turquoise, and you know, I've had some amazing weather and some pretty less than good weather, but I can only imagine if you're here and it's the midnight sun, or you're here in a few weeks' time, maybe, and the Northern Lights are going, or there are whales out there, or there's all of these extraordinary things that are unique to Lofoten, then it just sort of goes so many levels over and above what a conventional golf course could ever offer.
I'll be honest, look, all golf courses the same, but like this is like a new office every day. Wind or sun or snow or shine, you know, honestly, it's there's always something that you're going to pick up and I guess that's true for lots of places, but like this place from April to June to July to August, September is usually like the year Gary was here. Like, my God. And you just couldn't wait to get up in the morning. The earlier you could get up to see the sunrise. And everybody staying up all night long to watch Northern Lights. It's a special place. Yeah, it sure is.
Well, one last thing. We started, I know I've said that a few times, so, sorry, but there's just so many things. Earlier we were talking about a year at Lofoten, what it's like, and I think I got distracted when we were talking about things freezing over the winter period. But can you just describe what it's like from spring and then going into that fabled time of the year when the sun doesn't set? Like, what's it like?
I suppose you come up in April, and I suppose most of the time it's covered in snow, and by mid-April it's starting to melt. You know, the ground can still be frozen. It's kind of well into May before you're starting to do your first mow. And like even Norway's National Day, the 17th of May, that's, I suppose, the last 5-6 years, it snowed, you know. I remember Rand Morissette was up here from Golf Club Atlas, 31st of May last year. It was a blizzard, and he's out there playing it, and like, it was horrible, you know.
You wouldn't drag him off the golf course?
No, yeah, like we went out, we got a survival suit for his wife. You know, it was freezing, and he didn't even have a jacket on. And the next day then I played golf with him that evening, and like, it's sunny, beautiful. You could almost have your t-shirt on. It's always, I feel, it's no matter what we do, and I can be wrong, it's just my opinion from what I'm seeing. No matter what we do, what we put out on the turf, the course goes into another gear. Or I always think around the 23rd of May, or July.
Okay.
And every week then it's just peaking and peaking. And then you can see like the atriums now, they're all starting to melt. Like in July, this place is a sea of cover. Even like hole 4, which a lot of people would say wouldn't be the strongest hole here. But like, it's a forest of purple, a forest. And you're just watching people out there, and they're all just videoing and pictures, and you know, you kind of, listen, you got to move on. There's a gang on the tee. You know, it's like going to St. Andrews and you turn the corner and you know, something kind of gets in your bones, like, yeah.
So when do you get to the point where the sun doesn't dip down below the horizon? And how long does that last for?
I'll be honest, like, food, they'll say, like, it's May that you're into, but like, you get up here in April and you get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet or whatever. It's pretty much you can go out and work. Yeah. You know? And then you get into, and I was trying to keep a track on it this year, like you get into August and you can really see it now, like, we're getting nighttime. You know, it's only a couple of hours, like, but for me, like, I couldn't play 24-hour golf in April, but definitely from May.
Really?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And all the way through to sort of the beginning, early weeks of August? Yeah.
But then, like, stuff really, you can see it now, and, you know, you'll be checking the weather, you can see what time sunrise and sunset. I think we're losing 14 to 16 minutes a day. But where it really gets, like, end of October into November, like, my God, like, because you get in definitely into November and you're going around with a head torch. Yeah. You know, you could be going to the shop at 3 o'clock and you'll have the head torch on. And then, like, you get into December, you know, even during the day, you have to have the lights on the tractor and stuff. But I think it's around the 5th of December, you might have 16 minutes of sunlight, and then the 6th.
And that's it?
That's it.
And then when does the sun rematerialise?
Well, I'm never here, but like, talking to everyone, it's around the second week of January, third week of January.
So there's
and
like 4 or 5 weeks where there's literally nothing.
There's not, no, it's not dark like at night, but like, you'd still have, you know, if you're driving your car, you'd need lights.
Twilight at kind of...
Yeah. And it depends then, like, because if there's no snow, everything is... But if it snows, even at night with a full moon, the whole place is lit up
feels
like
lighter,
crazy.
yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be big into the snow. I'm not into skiing or any of that. But and I'm not into the winters either. But I have been up here like a couple of times now, and I remember one November, like it was minus 24 every day, but there wasn't a puff of wind or a drop of rain, and I was doing a bit of jogging at the time. But like, you'd go out in the morning early, you go out at night, and like everything in the air is like it's crystals, and everything on the ground, and like even to walk along the seashore. And like stuff will freeze along this, but like even to see the seaweed and like tis
magical place.
Yeah. And like even the wildlife, we've a little race cat. I suppose he's a weasel. They're a lovely little thing, and there's piles of them out there. But like he's brown and a couple of black spots and a little bit of white. But in October he turns white, you know, for camouflage. And we've a huge amount of grouse. I know like there's huge families of grouse out there, and they're kind of browny, blacky, and they have a bit of red and white. But by mid-October, they go white for the camouflage as well. So it is amazing, like watching how the nature and
how
everything,
the place transforms.
yeah, and camouflage, and
Well, I could talk to you all night, but I think you've probably outstayed my welcome already.
No, geez, you haven't, Sam, and I'm glad you came back. And honestly, I love the podcast, yourself and Bledge, what you're doing. And like, I haven't been to college in a long, long time, but like, once I got into this, like the knowledge you're getting out of it and what other people are doing, it is a great way of communicating.
Well, you're very kind. That is what I want to do. Is I like to learn. You know, I like to talk to people like yourself, and talk to people like Bledge, and learn as much as I can. And hopefully, if other people do as well, then great.
I know it is.
We'll all be a bit better off for it.
It is a cool thing. Pleasure.
Good man.
Thank you.